Night before the ACFT, having the shits yet again. Finish my protein shake. Okay, so the first event, obviously the 3 repetition max deadlift. It's with the hex bar. A lot of the newer stuff is all CrossFit focused, it seems, but this is me pulling 300. That was the max I was able to do that day. Fortunately, it seems that pulling a little bit more with my back than I should be. Hex bar is a lot more leg action, and that's something that definitely is an area for improvement. Here's me going for 340. It's unfortunate the gentleman on the left couldn't get that 300, but yeah, 340 with just about every combination of different plates possible, and it just wasn't happening. This is my best attempt at 340. My max normal deadlift is at about 315, so 3 standard plates on a conventional deadlift bar. But with the hex bar, I have not ever in my life been able to pull 340, but I wanted to just give it a try. Next one here is sort of a fun one, is the standing power throw, and also something where you can lose a lot of points for just not getting the max score if you're looking at obviously getting a 600, which is my goal on this test. So I've been working on, at least the last sort of few weeks, the form for this, which I think I sort of still jacked up a little bit on the test. This camera angle isn't great, but you can see I threw it, not as high as I'd like to. If you're taller and weigh more, it's a lot easier to throw it, with a better trajectory, since this one I do think is a good bit of form as well as just the muscle mass movement and the momentum of the ball gets it going. This is now the hand release push-ups. I was able to knock out, I believe, 56 of these, and the max score is 63, 64. Just gonna fast forward through this because there's no point in watching me doing push-ups. I get that the form is not perfect, but again, hand release push-ups, not my favorite thing in the world to do, as I'm sure most people can probably agree. Here's the last few reps. He's about 56. Next one is my favorite, which generally speaking, I'm always able to max, which is sub 130 or sub 127, a minute 27 for this at my age group. Here's me sprinting for the sprint drag carry. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but my cardiovascular endurance has really been lacking just because I've been training for the 1,000-pound club, and you might not be able to tell that from how I pulled that deadlift today, but the sprint drag carry is usually something that I'm very comfortable with and is a pretty easy event for me to max. But as you can tell, I'm struggling greatly pulling these 2 plates on the little sled there, and then hobbling over in this shuffle the next piece. I'm gonna fast forward through the second half of each of these. And then a little kettlebell run, really just not a great showing for me here. It was a little rough. Definitely safe to say I did not prepare enough in terms of the cardiovascular endurance aspect. Here's me barely running on the last leg of the sprint drag carry here. Got a 1:45, which is by far my worst time on that event. Next one is very straightforward. This is just a plank. So I personally think this is all mental, and anybody can, physically stay up there for 3 minutes and 45 seconds, I believe, or it's about 4 minutes is max. Here's the last few seconds of me reminding myself to stop feeling sorry for myself, and the final moments before I have to drop. But I believe I'd hit about 4 minutes or just over 4 minutes. All right, so my lack of cardiovascular endurance is really showing. Ain't that right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so
Shitty ass time.
struggled on the sprint drag carry a little bit. Probably my worst showing, but we're gonna see if it really shows in this 2-mile run. I'm really not excited for this, but gotta stop being mentally weak.
pencil might win.
Yeah, 1455.
Yeah.
14, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57.
14.
About the roughest 2 mile I've ever run in my life. All right, so that was definitely not one of my best showings at an ACFT, and I think the lack of prep for cardiovascular endurance definitely shows. If you guys are aware, or probably you're not aware, I've been training for the 1,000-pound club, which is my first goal here on this situation that I'm in this first period of time here. So I want to bulk until probably August and September, shred for about 8 to 12 weeks until the next bodybuilding competition. Actually, I want to compete in my first bodybuilding competition, and then at that same time we're doing our company ACFT around October, November timeframe. So again, not terrible for a baseline ACFT, just to get a benchmark in terms of my numbers right now with absolutely no prep. Honestly, I've just been working on my bench, squat, and deadlift, and even my deadlift I didn't max. So certainly some work to do, but I'm gonna break down the scores once I get home after grabbing a quick bite to eat, and show you guys what the scores look like and what work needs to be done here on out. All right, so apparently you can't wear PTs in the chow hall here, which I didn't realize for some reason. But I'm hungry, and so I might miss breakfast after I stop recording this damn video. So I'm gonna go home, shower, change, grab some food, and then let you guys know what my scores are and what needs to be improved upon. So see you guys in a little bit. All right, so I'm just gonna show you guys my typical breakfast spread real quick at the chow hall that I'm at right now. Every day is a little bit different because they change the menu items sometimes, but this is pretty much what we got going on today. So you should get my bowl of oatmeal. Jeez, hold on. A bowl of oatmeal with some fruit, so it's healthy. Have a banana. Get my 2 waffles. You actually can't see most of my food because it's covered up, but this is just a plain egg white omelet with 2 sausage patties under there. So basically 4 sausage patties. They're both turkey. Got some grits on there for the carbs, and that's pretty much it. Probably should have turned the camera around because you can't see a whole lot with the front camera like this. But that's what we got going on for breakfast, and currently on a bulk until about August, September, until I start cutting for the competition for the ACFT and after I hit the 1,000-pound club. All right, so I have my scores, and I want to walk you guys through what the significant areas for improvement are, because there are quite a few, to be honest, and this was probably one of the worst fitness tests that I've taken. But again, this was a no prep ACFT that I just wanted to take to get a baseline, and also so that I have something to work off of, so I know where to focus my workouts, as well as what my biggest areas for improvement are, because again, there are quite a few. So for those of you guys that are not aware, the Army Combat Fitness Test consists of 6 different events. So quickly, the 6 different events are the max repetition deadlift, the standing power throw, the push-ups, the hand release push-ups, the sprint drag carry, which is a fun one, the plank, and the 2-mile run. The old APFT, which is the Army Physical Fitness Test, which consisted of a 2-mile run, push-ups, and sit-ups, was honestly a lot easier, especially for folks like me, which frankly, I find it a lot easier to do cardio and have pretty good cardiovascular endurance, generally speaking, especially when I was in college doing ROTC, taking the PT test then. It was really no problem for me to get that 300, even though today when I checked in DTMS, it seems that somebody fat fingered my score wrong, but that's a whole nother story. So for today's ACFT, my scores were on the, so I'll first give you guys the raw score and then what the actual points were on it. For the deadlift, which is 3 repetitions, I was able to pull only 300 pounds. So the max for my age, which is 25, your group, or for my age group, is 340 pounds. So I pulled 300 pounds on my first attempt and my only attempt, because I couldn't pull 340, which is 89 points. The standing power throw, I only threw the ball 10.4 meters, which is okay, but that's only 87 points. The hand release push-ups, I was able to knock out 55 of those, which is 97 points. Then we have the sprint drag carry, which again, normally I crush the sprint drag carry, and that's one of my favorite, workouts, not workouts. It's one of my favorite events because I usually have no problem doing it, but I only did it in a minute 45, which is 88 points. The plank I did for 3 minutes and 48 seconds, which is 100 points. And the 2 mile run, worst 2 mile run of my life, straight up, and was 14 minutes and 57 seconds, which is 94 points, which is crazy that that's still 94 points. But to give you guys a little breakdown, again, for my sort of body composition, not traditionally, what am I even talking about? For me, it's a lot harder to gain weight than it is to lose weight. So if I wanted to cut for this ACFT, say I had actually prepped for it, right? Going out and doing, a 2 mile run after doing a little bit of running for about 2 weeks, I would probably be at about, where I want to be, which is sub 14 minutes, probably close enough to 13:27, which is the max, to be able to max it, because I have in the past. Again, with the APFT, I really had no issues with it because it was just a matter of doing the cardio and just cranking out, enough push-ups and sit-ups so that you could pass the test, or, to max the test, which is always the benchmark that I shoot for. So the way I'm kind of going about this for this year really is that I want to start off by focusing on building muscle and, building my physique so that I have some weight to lose. I'm currently 70, 170, so 5'10", 170, just about. I've gained about 5 to 10 pounds, depending on, water weight, but about 5 pounds I would say of solid weight since I've gotten here because of, what I eat in a day. I haven't made one of those videos and I don't know that I will necessarily, but if I get around to it, I'll show you guys kind of what I eat in a day so you have an idea of the caloric intake as well as the protein intake. My focus with bulking this time around is to keep it pretty lean and pretty clean so that I'm eating, healthy calories, so to speak, chopped chicken and rice, have some veggies in there, but primarily focused on hitting about 200 grams of protein every day in terms of my eating, in terms of the dieting for this, for the surplus that I need for the protein in terms of this bulk, right? So I would say for the next 6 months, I probably want to focus on achieving my first goal, which is hitting the 1,000-pound club. To be fair, I've never deadlifted before. That's almost true, but I've never powerlifted before, like, in a professional context or just recreationally. Powerlifting has never really been my thing because my domain, again, is pretty much calisthenics, doing things that involve being quick and not necessarily picking up heavy things, at a slow rate of speed, all that. So I want to hit the 1,000-pound club, which is probably going to consist of, 4 plates, give or take, on deadlift, about 3 plates on squat, and about, 2.5, basically pretty close to 3 plates, like 275 on bench, realistically speaking. So in 6 months, we'll see how close I could get to that. Again, my body weight right now is about 170 at 5'10". My build, again, is pretty lean, I would say. I'll probably do a physique check here pretty soon to get, sort of a baseline for that as well, because at the same time, in maybe October-ish, there is a physique competition that I want to compete in, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for me to cut down the weight so I can, have the lean, 6%, 5% body fat, whatever the case might be, for that competition, just because I think it'd be a fun opportunity for me to do that, to get on stage. I've never done that before, and I think it'd just be a fun time to prep for that and then make it happen, as well as cutting down for that ACFT at the end of the year, towards October, November timeframe. Honestly, I'll probably just plan one for the company or for the platoon if they don't do one for the company. But those are the big fitness goals for this year. So 1,000-pound club, step 1, doing the physique competition, step 2, I guess. And then the third one was maxing the ACFT, but really my most realistic goal, I would say, is maxing the ACFT. I don't know that necessarily I can hit 1,000 pounds within the next 6 months, just based off of where I'm at. On Sunday, going to be doing a baseline for that as well, so I might make that sort of a separate video in terms of a PR day just for deadlift, squat, and bench. But right now I'm not exactly where I need to be if I want to hit a 1,000 pound club. And so that's going to take the longest time, I think. But once I've built up that muscle, cut it back down so I can max the ACFT, look good for that, bodybuilding competition, and see where I place. Just try to have a good time with that. I think it'll be pretty good, since I want to do it with some of my buddies here that also are competing, and the ones that I mostly work out with here as well. So I think that's pretty much it. Cover the main things. Hopefully that gives you guys a solid picture of where my fitness is in terms of the ACFT right now and what my fitness goals are for this year. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily separate into other videos sort of my other goals, which are the physique competition and then the max the ACFT towards the later part of the year, doing the 1,000 pound club in conjunction with that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. There's only so much that I can record when I'm out here, and I want to keep it somewhat interesting based off of what I'm really doing kind of day to day, which, so to speak, is not really what I can show you guys because of the nature of the work. But outside of work, again, my time is really spent hanging out with the folks, hanging out with the troops, going to the gym, eating food, and going to sleep. That's really all what I have time for. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below. Comment if you guys have any questions about what I plan on doing this year with my fitness or otherwise. I'll still try to crank out the personal finance content when I can, but again, that takes more research and planning than just kind of recording what I'm doing day to day in terms of my fitness, because that is sort of what my after work time is spent doing. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.